Hey guys, good morning, Creator Mom. It's 6:30 and it's still dark outside. The seasons are changing, yay. This morning I want to talk about food again and this notion that eating food or eating a lot of food makes you fat. So now say the phrase eating a lot of food could mean something different to different people because that's very subjective. What is a lot of food, right? A lot of food for me could mean something different to the next person. So, but for the sake of simplicity, eating a lot of food makes you fat, right? And you even notice this subtle, disgust on social media. Like what I've noticed is like if you see a skinny person making donuts or baked goods and enjoying them and eating them, people look at that and they're like, oh wow, like she's so skinny and she looks so beautiful and she's eating like donuts. Like, wow, how does she do that? Like, wow, that's so cool. And she's like not getting fat. And then if you have the same exact video, but let's say the person is 250 pounds or 300 pounds or something, and they look overweight, a fat person, let's say, then you see a fat person eating food or enjoying some donuts. It's automatic disgust for people commenting, oh, wow, we see how you got that way. Yeah, keep eating those donuts. You're just going to get fatter and fatter. We assume, we're just assuming, we're making assumptions, right? It's pretty disgusting. If you think about it, like how our mind is, and we're trained to feel a certain way. Like you see a skinny person, nobody feels disgusted about a skinny person eating donuts. Like, wow, look at them. You see a fat person eating donuts and we're like, ugh, look at them. Ugh, so gross. So I was thinking about how this idea that food makes you fat, of how it's possible that this idea can start young, right? It starts young. It starts in our families. Started in my family. Hey, watch out. You don't want to get fat. I'm walking to the refrigerator to get a snack or something. Who knows? Especially when you're young, you like to eat a lot. When you're like 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, I guess because you're growing fucking rapidly. So, and then sometimes people do put on more weight, during puberty and stuff like that. So, yeah, walking over to the refrigerator, then my aunt's like, be careful. You don't want to eat too much. She was obsessed with being skinny. Obsessed with being skinny. She was like probably under 100 pounds or something. She prided herself on like eating a little bit, eating a little bit. So, say for instance, a child who is prepubescent or maybe just hit puberty or in puberty takes these ideas and says, okay, I better watch how I'm eating. I better not eat a lot. And they start starving themselves. They start restricting their food. They start controlling their food, right? Now, they start resisting their body's urge to want to eat more. They go on diets, right? That they starve themselves essentially. They go into starvation by going on diets. And it's starting young, right? And to the young, simple mind, we see things as this. Well, okay, so say they start going on diets. Wow, they notice that they're losing weight, right? And then they're gaining the praise of their family members and people around, like, wow, you look so beautiful. Look at you, you're losing weight, And then that feels really good because like you're skinny and people are like praising you for looking good and beautiful, and it's so cool. And whatever. So you're getting all kinds of attention, positive attention. So But then something happens, right? You can't keep up your diet. You start binging. Uh-oh. You've kept up you've kept up your self-deprivation for a few months, let's say. You've done so good on your diet. You've lost so much weight. Then all of a sudden you start binging the fuck out. The body starts binging because you can't fool the body. So then they start binging and say they start going back to just eating more food because they're hungry. And they kind of lose control. They lose that outside control because the body is a forceful mechanism. We think that like we can fight against the body, maybe only for so long, before you go pop that rubber band. So you start eating like normal, but it's not normal for you because you're just eating that restrict eating, that controlled eating, resisting your hunger, whatever. So you start eating more. And this is, you're young, this is like preteen or teenage years, maybe, right? And then you start gaining weight, obviously, right? You start putting on weight and you're getting fat. So to your mind, you're thinking, oh, when I was eating less, I was skinny. Now that I'm eating more, I am fat. So there's the idea. You eat more, you get fat. You have to eat little bits to be skinny. But we didn't think about what the body's doing. We didn't think about the biological mechanisms that might be at play that say, like in the book I'm reading, if this is true, right? We didn't think about the possible fact that we actually just increased our weight. We increased our set weight point because of the famine that we just put our body through. So now our body has to make up for all the calories, like for all the energy, all the nutrition that was lost. And not only do we need to go back to where we were, but we need to go back to more than where we were when we started, just in case you go on another diet. Just in case just in order to make sure that the body is protected now, is protected from this starvation that might ensue. Wow, like we didn't think about that we just almost maybe made things worse, So yeah, I don't know. It's weird. It's almost like from that point, it's like, well, what do you do, right? I guess you can do one of two things or three things. You can go on another diet again and then have the same thing happen all over again and then possibly be another 5 pounds heavier than you were. You can really have massive control and willpower, right? Which failed you before because, you're trying to use control and willpower, weaponize that against your body. You can try to do that again, but you have to maintain that for the rest of your life. You know what I'm saying? Like, who knows if that's, if that's possible. You'd have to just maintain that forever. Or thirdly, stop. Just stop. Just throw it all away. Just let it all go. And start to do the scary thing and trust your body. The words trust your body in reference to food, weight, and your physical body are like diabolical words, right? They're scary words. That's like, no, no. I can't trust my body. If I trust my body, I will get as big as a fucking house. You know, that's when you just have to start going through the self inquiry. You know, why do I think that? Oh, because when I ate food, I got fat. Well, did you take into account the starvation that you put yourself through before that? You know, because if we start dieting when we're young, how would we have known how it would have played out? Like, you know, say we're a chubby 12-year-old. Well, we just don't know what happened. You know what I'm saying? Like, we can't totally make the simple assumption that, like, food made you fat, you know? Going through puberty, you're going through a lot of hormonal changes. So if you would have just, if you would have had somebody to be like, just not talk about your body at all. Like, imagine if you grew up in a family that did not talk about your body, didn't make mention about your arms, your legs, your butt, how much you're eating. A family that just kind of didn't make a big deal about that stuff at all. Didn't care, like just paid no attention to that stuff. We assume, I think, that if we had a family like that we would be really fat. And not sure, maybe in a family that forces food down your throat. You know what I'm saying? Because now you have a different problem. Instead of a family that is trying to restrict your food, when you come from a family that's constantly pushing food down your throat, I think I could see why that could make you unnecessarily overweight, because now you get into the realm of eating to please others, cleaning your plate to please your nonna, you know, who just made a bunch of food, and now you have to eat it all. You don't want her to be upset with you. I mean, this stuff is real. I think people go through this stuff. That's eating like you keep eating past your like fullness signals. I could see how that could be a problem, just to please others. So, but again, you see how that's an emotional, like that's kind of like an emotional issue. That's a psychological issue, you know? When people keep forcing food on you. But say you come from, like, what about a food neutral family? Well, if you eat, okay, good. If you don't eat, okay. If you want to eat that, okay. You know what I mean? Like, a family that doesn't say, oh, watch out if you don't, or you know, I try to do it with my kids, like not make references like, oh, you're skinny, you need to eat or whatever, like, or, you know, trying to lean into the more trust-based, you know, stuff, trusting people with their own bodies, not talking about bodies and eating too much, you know, as to not cause some type of like fixation. So, you know, just to wrap it up, it's just like how we grow up and how we think about our bodies and food is so influenced by culture and so influenced by our families. You know, when I go back and I look at my pictures from my past and I think about the comments that were made about my body, like my arms and my thighs, and I'm just like, you know, I wish that those things were never said to me, you know, but oh well, you know. So yeah, imagine coming from a food neutral family. Wonder what that would look like. You know, do you think that they kind of, if you were hungry, well, they let you eat. They didn't say things like, hey, you better watch it, you know? And then we think, well, good thing they said that because I probably would have ended up to be really, really fat or something, you know? Well, what if you didn't though? What if you just ate, you know, according to your own appetite, and then everything worked out fine? That's a possibility too, you know? But like humanity does, we fight against being controlling, you know. We have a problem with being controlling. We have a problem trusting. That's, and you know, in regards to like manifestation, they say, or prayer or walking with God, oh, you go through hell, blah, blah, blah. You know what the hell is, I think, that we go through? We go through the hell of trusting, because trusting is like hell for us. We love control, you know? We love to feel in control, like, and that's displayed in the food arena, like, obviously, right? And that what they say, like, a lot of eating disorders come down to like emotional issues and like control, feeling in control. So yeah, it's all very psycho-emotional stuff. But when we're dieting, when we're prepubescent or teenagers, we don't take into account the starvation that we're putting our bodies through, because being skinny and looking beautiful, which is being skinny in our world, is all that matters, you know? But we live and we learn. All right, everyone, whoever's watching this video, I'm hitting 16 minutes. Have a beautiful Friday.